We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Past 24 hours, we've seen 34 new cases of COVID-19 here in Utah.
Following breaking news out of Utah, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City.
You need 100 to 150,000 tests a day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Iso20 podcast. I am your host, Dre, the number one Chief Rocka. Thank you for clicking play. This is episode number 666. Gotta say that for OVO. Since we're not gonna get OVO Fest probably this year, you know. How's everybody doing? How's everybody living? Everybody doing all right? Life's been kind of crazy. Got a lot of things going on. We just had Easter. Hopefully you had a good Easter. Hopefully you and your family practice social distancing. This was the first, was this the first holiday social distancing? I think it was. I believe it was. I believe this was our first official holiday of like staying away from people. And if it wasn't, I just made that shit up. But I think it was. Easter was cool. Me and my family spent it social distancing. My parents came over. My dad and my stepmom came by, and we hid eggs for the kids, and you know, just kind of really just enjoyed the time together, as we have not been able to, I guess, spend time together. My dad and his wife, I guess you would call them. They're not married, but common law, I guess. They've been together over 20 years. They are at risk. They're high risk. I talked about them before on the pod. So I just make sure that everything's wiped down, and, you know, I mean, just really just doing the same thing that most people are doing as far as cleanliness and things like that. But it was nice to have them come by. We hid eggs. My oldest son, he likes the idea of hiding eggs and doing the whole Easter egg hunt thing, and it was cool because he forced all of us to take a turn and do that. So that was cool. Of course, you know, I found mine the quickest. You know, they try to joke on me and put it in the microwave and stuff like that, but you can't fool me. You can't fool me. I'm the king of this shit. I started this egg hunt shit. This the motherfucking thanks I get. Yeah, so Easter was really cool. I noticed some people doing a little bit too much with the Eastering on social media. I've seen some barbecues. Yeah, I've seen more than the minimum necessary at some of these barbecues. I'm not gonna call out any names, but I see you going against the grain. But I'm not mad at it. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Just stay away from me and mines. What else did I do? Oh, I watched LA Originals finally. I finally got to watch the LA Originals documentary on Netflix. That shit was dope. Especially if you live on the West Coast. If you live on the West Coast, this is definitely a story that you should hear and just really embrace. I didn't realize how much Mr. Cartoon and photographer Estevan, aka Steve-O. I knew of Steve-O, like not like Jackass Steve-O, like real West Coast Steve-O before Steve-O. I knew of him, but I didn't know him, if that makes sense. Like, I've seen him hang out with House of Pain and stuff like that, but I didn't know how much he impacted West Coast culture and really hip hop culture as well. Like with his photography, and he was a manager of Cypress Hill. I really didn't realize how big Cypress Hill was for the West Coast. Like, of course, you know about like their beef with like Ice Cube and shit like that, and just being really the first Chicano rappers to really put on that like rock kind of hip hop mashup sound. But they did more than that. They did so much, and this story really highlights that. Mr. Cartoon, if you are a hip hop guy or you're a hip hop person in general, or maybe you like tattoos, or you're really into the Chicano kind of artistry, you know Mr. Cartoon. Mr. Cartoon is a staple in hip hop culture. I mean, he's done pieces on 50 Cent. He did 50 Cent's back tattoo, which is on his album. He did Eminem's Haley. He did Haley on his arm. He did another sleeve of Eminem's, and that's on his album too. He did Kobe, the late great Kobe. He's done everybody. Exhibit was another big one. It's weird too because they like low-key brought up Exhibit a lot in that documentary, and I don't think people caught on to it. Like, they highlighted Exhibit quite a few times, and Exhibit's he's in my top, for sure my top 10, but arguably my top 5 West Coast rappers. He's one of my favorites. So, but yeah, it was something to see the way that they impacted West Coast culture, hip hop culture. I mean, they're influencing guys over in Tokyo to ride lowriders and draw kind of like the way Mr. Cartoon did. Like, man, it's a really good documentary. It's not a long one either. It's a pause. It's like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours long. But definitely worth watching it. And they're really raw with it. Like, they had a homie that was I want to say he was a Sereno. I'm not sure what gang he really claimed, but he ended up turning into a tweaker and shit, and like they kind of like a B-side story to the actual story. They went into how he was a fiend and how he got clean. And man, this dude said, I went on a binge. I did every drug in the book. He's like, I slammed heroin, I did ecstasy, I did cocaine, I smoked a bunch of weed, like, but we don't consider weed a drug. He did all this shit, like pretty much almost died, and then got clean. And so it was dope to see that, to see the raw footage of this dude strung out and shit like that, and just the way that he got clean and shit. Kim Kardashian came over and got her early photos over there at their studio when they opened up a studio together. Man, Mr. Cartoon had his own Cortez sneaker that he designed. He designed a couple of them actually. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot to it. So I definitely recommend the movie or documentary on Netflix. It's called LA Originals. And it's not just for anybody on the West Coast. It's honestly, if you're a fan of hip hop or Chicano culture, you definitely should watch this. I started watching obviously I watched Dave and For Life and Good Girls. Dave is man, that show was fucking really good. Charlamagne made an appearance. Well, the Breakfast Club made an appearance on it this last week, and I seen Charlamagne tweet it out. I don't know if he knew. You have to know if you're gonna be on the show, right? If they use your content, they have to let you know, right? You have to get approval. So I'm assuming that the Breakfast Club knew that they were gonna make a feature on that show. When I seen them featured on Empire, I was like, woo, they made it. Cause this was before the Breakfast Club really blew up. I started watching watching the Breakfast Club maybe 2014, 15, I believe is when I started watching it. And it was funny because before they really got big and stuff like that, it was like anytime that I seen them on some type of publication, I was like, ooh, that's dope. That's real dope. So to see them on Dave, that was cool too. And to see Charlamagne give props to Lil Dicky. I seen him tweet out that he really liked the show. And we're 7 episodes deep right now, and it's a good one. So be sure to go watch Dave. It's on Hulu. For Life is getting kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, but you can kind of see where this is gonna go. And I hate that about shows. That's why I fell out of Empire, because I seen where it was gonna go, but I still have to watch. I did that with Power too. Power got so bad, but I still had to watch it. But yeah, go watch Dave and stuff. Another one to watch, and another one that I got into, if you're into anime, if you're into those type of shows, Mortal Kombat Legacy got a new one out. Scorpion's Revenge is out now. It's also not, it's an average length, pause. It's about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours. And Sub-Zero and Scorpion going at it again. Scorpion and Liu Kang kind of have a heart-to-heart. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the story's really dope. They did it really good. It's definitely gruesome, so do not let your kids watch it unless you are just a badass parent and you're like, yo, fuck it, I don't care, we only live once, YOLO, turn that shit on. And if you are, cool. But my disclaimer is don't watch it if you're a kid or if you want your kid to be violent. Oh, that's another thing, talking about violence. I heard, I seen a headline, I didn't really look up the story, but supposedly this is the longest time without a school shooting. I don't know how accurate that is because schools are shut down, but supposedly that's a thing. I weighed in. I didn't lose anything this week, and I think part of that is because I worked out, but I didn't work out, and I wasn't using the barcode on my MyFitnessPal app. Because since the beginning of this weight loss journey, I should say since the restart of this weight loss journey at the beginning of March, I was really tracking every barcode with the MyFitnessPal app, which is a great app. If you haven't used it, it's a really good app. What you do is in the MyFitnessPal app, you can just go over to your meals, pull up the barcode, the scan the barcode portion of the app, pull up or take a real, just hover it over it and it takes a screenshot of it, and just off of the barcode alone it tells you all the nutritional facts on it, which is awesome. So I was using that really heavy, being really strict about it, and last week I did not. I kind of just typed in the items that I was eating. So obviously if I'm just typing in the items that I'm eating, it's not getting the actual product that I'm eating. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think I may have been off on some of my calorie counts, which I'm not doing this week. I am definitely using the barcode this week and hitting more air squats, and hopefully come Saturday, what's today? Today's Thursday. Hopefully come Saturday, I lose. Hopefully I lose something. I feel like I'm losing. Like my pants, they don't feel as tight in some of my pants that I've wore. Well, I should say shorts, because I haven't wore pants in days. Actually, fucking about a month I haven't wore pants, which is great. Yeah. So that's kind of where I am with the weight loss journey. Should we get into it? Are you guys ready? Can you guys handle more news? Here comes the news. All right, Utah schools have officially closed for the remaining year of 2020. School is out for summer, maybe even fucking fall. School's out for spring and summer. So man, shout out to all the students that are enjoying that like that, and to the students like the class of 2020. I feel really bad for you that you are not getting a ceremony. Most schools, most seniors are not getting a ceremony. If they are, it's most likely gonna be digital. So I don't know how that looks. I know my niece, she's graduating from East High, and she's really bummed about it. She worked her ass off to graduate, and now they don't get the opportunity to walk across the stage. Parents don't get the opportunity to see their child walk across that stage. It's really heartbreaking, man. If you really think about it, that is a huge thing in your life as a human. Like in Western culture, from my experience, it was, my father, he didn't graduate high school. My mother, she didn't graduate high school. My brother, my sister, they both didn't graduate. My brother got his diploma in prison though, so I guess that counts. But yeah, so I was the first one out of my family to graduate, and really I did it for my pops, because my pops always told me when I was a knucklehead, like when I was young, he was like, do you realize the opportunity you got? Like, do you want to come home hurting like me? Because he worked construction. He was like, do you want your hands to hurt? Do you want to have this feeling of just being tired every fucking day? And I'm like, fuck no, I don't. And so I felt like if I didn't graduate, I would have failed him. So I feel bad for the class of 2020 that might be like me, doing it for their parents, and now their parents aren't able to watch them walk across that stage. My heart goes out to them. I mean, the positive side is that it's lessening the risk of getting COVID-19. You're still graduating, right? So you're still getting your diploma. You can still talk to your friends and things like that. Maybe you can do a big party afterwards, and maybe in the summer or something. I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, Utah schools are officially closed down. Utah, Drerawka's public schooling is still in session. I don't know how much longer I could take of this shit. Had a battle with my son last night. My girl had a battle with my son last night. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But my son, he's learning. It's cool to see him learn, because honestly, like, we do 30 minutes of math, and I think we do like 30 minutes of reading. Last night we went over on math though, because he kept bullshitting. But it's cool to see him get his stride, because at about that 20-minute mark, he's like, all right, I got this, and he's counting his blocks and things like that. He's in first grade, so he's like learning numbers and addition and shit like that. So like, when we're about to be done is when I feel like he gets his stride, like when he really is starting to get it and shit like that. So maybe I need to change up the way that I'm teaching him and stuff like that. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. Utah is still shaking. We actually had a 4.2 earthquake 2 days ago in the evening, and then we had another one that was a 4.2 today that hit this morning. Like, my girl left this morning, and my whole place shook, and it shook hard. Like, we've been getting a few hundred small ones. Like, you might feel a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer here and there, which those ones you're like, is that an aftershock or nah, or is it just a train going by or a big truck or something? But these 4.2s you felt, and they lasted for a minute. Like, man, those 5 seconds, 6 seconds feels like a lifetime, because you're just sitting there, you're just riding it out. Pause. Because at this point, like, we've been getting them so often to where you just kind of ride it out, and then you just wait, because it gradually gets either stronger, and then at that point you're like, okay, I need to get out of this place. But yeah, we're still shaking, and the epicenter always is coming from Magna, Utah. You guys heard me talk about Magna, Utah. It's on the west side of the Salt Lake City Valley. Man, I feel bad for them. Not only are they the epicenter, right? So when we're feeling a 4.2 and we're shaking, they're really shaking, right? Like Harlem shaking, right? Like holla back, young, ooh. You know what I mean? So on top of that, they had a raccoon. First of all, to the construction worker or the water worker, the city worker, whoever the fuck this guy is, he left the damn screen off of the water supply to the fucking town. Motherfucker. So he left the screen off of the water supply. The damn raccoon found its way in there. Obviously, it died in the water supply. So it was breaking news all over the fucking internet and all over the fucking news. Yo, Magna, Utah has a water boil recommendation. Actually, it wasn't a recommendation, order. You have to boil your water until further notice. So not only do we have to worry about not going outside because of COVID, having to make sure that you have enough supply for fucking an earthquake, now you have to boil your fucking water and worry about being contaminated with water because the fucking raccoon is fucking disgusting. Those motherfuckers eat everything. Man, I remember back in Portland, we had raccoons the size of fucking dogs, and they're vicious. They look cute and shit, like they look like a hamburger and shit like that, but them motherfuckers are vicious. I've seen raccoons get down in my front and like in my driveway and shit. Like the raccoon fights be better than like raccoon fight. They should have raccoon fights on fucking like the internet. That might be a thing. I'm not sure. But you remember how bum fights were big back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, from the 99s to 2000s? That's how raccoon fights are. Like them motherfuckers, they be getting in. So yeah, like them motherfuckers are dirty, nasty animals. So I feel bad for Magna. I had a conversation that you should have heard. If not, go listen to the last episode with my man Cruz Martinez, aka DJ Battleship. He's a DJ out here in Utah, and he's a traveling DJ. He DJs all over the place, but primarily he's here in Utah, Park City area, all over the valley. My man posted on his Facebook and Instagram talking about he had COVID-19, and so I had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk with him. Well, not sit down, but FaceTime with him and just really have a conversation of what that looked like, what he felt, the symptoms and everything like that. So that was cool. If you have an opportunity, go listen to that. And again, Cruz, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to hear that story and just chop it up with you. COVID-19, as of today, April 16th, 2020, the confirmed COVID-19 cases are 2,134,465 confirmed cases global. In the United States, we currently have 668,163 cases. It's a lot. We got a lot going on here. In Utah, we have 2,763 confirmed cases. 2,742 of those cases are active, and 21 of those cases are fatal. Yeah. And on top of that, we are ordered to keep a mask on our face. If we're out in public, it is an order to have a mask, some type of protection. A lot of people are using making, like, got this damn motherfucking, there's this fucking, so on the side of my place there's like a road that you can just book it on, like speed test type of road. And so you'll hear like people over there doing that shit. Sorry, sidetracked. But yeah, we have an order. People are making their own mask. I don't even know if that shit works, but I feel like people feel that as long as they're covering their face, that it works and that they feel better. I think it's a placebo, but I'm gonna do the same shit. Fuck it, be like everybody else. What else we have in the news? Oh man, my man Sione sent me a story about China and the way that they're treating the Africans out there in China. So there is a city out there in China where a majority of the community is African. A large population is African, which I'm just thinking, man, if you're African in China, that shit must be fucking awkward as fuck. But apparently China is segregating Africans. It doesn't matter if you're even from Africa. If you're black, you're being kicked out of your apartment, you're being kicked out of hotels, you're being told to sleep on the street. The reason China is doing this is because they're fucking racist. But no, the real reason why they're saying they're doing it, and China's been denying it, they're saying they're doing this to anybody that is potentially infected or contracted COVID-19. It's fucking sad to see. And the African community, thank you for bringing this to light. And Sione, thank you for bringing the story to me, because I see it everywhere now. Al Jazeera is reporting on it, BBC News is reporting on it. All I ask is that you do yourself the favor and just simply YouTube it or Google it, because it's heartbreaking to see. Like, these people, they want to be quarantined too, but now they're being asked to be they're being told and forced to be put in the street. I'm talking Chinese officials walking behind them with sticks and shit and scooters and guns and shit, and walking them down the street away from the hotel or their residence. Like, this is places that they've paid money to stay and things like that. And it's not like they're being taken out of a residence to be put somewhere else. They're being forced out of their residence and put in the street, and it's heartbreaking to see. And the African community has made this known. They're taking video film of it. They're posting this shit online. The Nigerian one of the Nigerian government officials met with a Chinese ambassador in Nigeria and showed him the video. He was like, yo, like, please explain this. This is unacceptable. And he went off. He was like, he even said it. He was like, quite frankly, like, I can't keep my cool because I'm mad. I'm mad about this. So thank you to the Nigerian government for standing up and really being that voice for the African community, because this is not cool at all. It is not a good thing. Salute to Africa. And I think Nigeria's really not, I mean, they're not, I don't think they have too much money, but they can live without the support of China. They're all right. That could be totally false. I don't know. Let's see what else. Rio, Christ the Redeemer. I think I'm saying that right. Christ the Redeemer statue is being eliminated with the image of a doctor. So the big Christ statue that looks over Brazil, I think it's Sao Paulo that it looks over. I should probably call my man Felipe, and he could probably tell me a little bit more about that. We'll save that for another day. But yeah, Rio. Oh yeah, I guess Rio. It is being illuminated with the image of a doctor to spread awareness and thank yous to the doctors around the world that are providing this healthcare for these sick people. And man, there are tons of healthcare workers out there working long hours. They are just doing the best job that they can. So salute to you guys for really being the front force with this thing. And I see nurses out there. I've seen so many stories about nurses working 12 hours, 15 hours, staying at the hospital, just sleeping in a cot, waking up and going back to work. And then meanwhile, you guys are here doing barbecues on Easter. Like, really think about that. Even if you're not worried about COVID, I'm not scared. Like, me personally, I'm not scared. And I'm like, I can go outside and I can go kick it. You know, I feel comfortable going and kicking it with homies and stuff like that. But I'm not, for the simple fact that I think about the people out there working and putting themselves in harm's way just so we can sit back and chill. Like, that's all they're asking. Yo, just sit back and chill. Just sit down and chill. So if we can't do that for our healthcare workers, and we really got to evaluate ourselves as human beings. Like, really, for real. Like, I don't care what your view is. You're being asked just to chill. That's all it is. Just chill. Please do that. What else? Oh, I seen a man, pause. I seen a man, he was expecting his stimulus package, right? So what is that, like $1,200, $1,700, something like that? He actually received, I think it was $8.2 million. What do you do? Like, if you're like just checking your bank account, yo, what's going on in here? And then you just see a deposit for $8 million. What do? You just give it a few days and like, yo, if it's an error on the bank, they're gonna catch this in a few days and fix this shit? Or do you just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get me a Bugatti, or I'm gonna go do this? What do? Do you be honest? Call your bank, call your credit union. Hey, yo, I'm really only supposed to have about $26 in there, but I got $2.8 million in there. What's going on? Like, and then at what point do you just fucking just go spend it? I think I would definitely call my credit union, let them know what's going on. I wasn't expecting $8.2 million. Where'd this money come from? Damn, that shit would fuck me up though, because I'd be so hype. Cause I don't know if you guys do this, but I be thinking to myself, damn, what would I do with $1 million? Like, I be having plans. Like, if I hit the lottery, I be having plans. All right, I'm gonna get myself a lawyer. Like, at the little press conference for the little lottery, I'll be having a fly suit. I'm gonna have security with me. Yo, if I get this, I'm gonna be moving here. That's one thing I would do, is I would get a ranch. I'd get a nice ranch. I put a few houses on there. I put a studio on there. And my shit be looking lit. My shit would be tight. I think I'd keep it in Utah too. I think I would stay in Utah. Like the ranch. I'd keep the ranch in Utah. I would get maybe like a beachside house in like San Diego or something. I don't know. But damn, man, if I had $8.2 million, shit, I'd get that shit back. I just played. All right. I think that covered. Oh, no. Fuck. A 93-year-old woman got a massive Coors Light delivery after a viral plea for more beer. So this 93-year-old woman, we'll call her Betty. She has a real name, but I'm gonna call her Betty. Betty's like an old white woman name. So Betty puts in her window, she lives in a trailer park, she puts in her window, need more beer, please. And Coors Light pulled up, gave her like 60 cases of beer. She's 93, what the fuck you need that much beer for? Damn, if that's all I need to do is put a sign outside my door, yo, need more beer. Corona, please pull up. Damn, Corona stopped production though. Modelo? I'm cool with Modelo. Yo, Modelo pull up, or Heineken pull up. You know, I'd be happy with some local Wasatch IPAs. Like, hook it up. Let me get some squatters or something. I'm gonna put a sign outside my door and see. I'm gonna test it. Yo, please send beer. See if it works. All right. I think that covers news. I was gonna talk about Ja Rule and 50 Cent, but fuck it. 50 Cent ain't never gonna do a Ja Rule versus. But Ja would hold his own though. I ain't gonna lie. Ja got some bangers. Damn, but then 50 drops Mini Men. I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation I'll have with somebody. Maybe I'll get one of my hip hop enthusiasts on the line, and maybe we'll talk about it some other day. But let's get into it. Here comes sports. All right, in sports news, NASCAR driver Kyle Larson fired from his race team after using the N-word on Twitch live stream. I hate that this shit still happens. Not the fact that the man's using the N-word, but for the fact that this man publicly used the N-word. My man, if you use the N-word in your own house, whatever you do, cool. Like, most likely, most black people, most people of color are gonna see you as somebody that calls us the N-word anyway. So that's on you. But to do it publicly where there's children watching you race and stuff like that, you're spreading a message of hate. It might not even be consciously, because if you use the N-word, obviously you just be using that shit as part of your normal vocabulary. That's normal to you. But for you to just say it on the live stream, there's kids out there that they are picking up things that you're saying regardless. Like, you might not be saying it consciously, but they're picking it up in their subconscious and things like that. So if they hear you saying it, and you might be somebody they idolize, they're gonna be over there, they're gonna be saying it on their fucking little Twitch, right? Not cool, my man. Not cool. And I'm glad NASCAR did something about it. Not that we were expecting anything out of NASCAR. I don't know what the black ratio is, people that watch NASCAR. I think it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, you see cars going at a high speed, regardless on if they're just taking a left-hand turn. Like, that shit is kind of cool that they have to pit stop and shit like that. But yeah, man, I don't know. We don't expect too much out of NASCAR. And for this to happen right now during quarantine, I think that it's gonna be brushed underneath the rug, so we're not gonna hear about it come Daytona 500 times and shit like that. But typically you see signs of hate at NASCAR events anyway. You see that fucking Confederate flag. At least I do. Any video I see or show I see with NASCAR racing and shit like that, it's always the fucking Confederate flag somewhere. And that, to me, that's a sign of hate. Regardless on how you see it, I see it as a sign of hate. The South wanted to stay the South. They wanted to stay segregated. They were against blacks. And so they fought for that and they lost. But y'all still want to fly it. So yeah, I'm gonna let that be that. What else we got? NBA former players and current players are now streaming horse challenges. I know Chauncey Billups and Trae Young went at it, I believe, and Paul Pierce and Zach LaVine went at it, I believe. So yeah, on I think ESPN, you can check out some of these horse games, these horse challenges, which is cool, but you can't dunk or anything. It's not the same. I just feel like sports aren't the same live. Like, live streaming. Like, I want to see him on the court and stuff like that. I really hope that they figure out something as far as how they can be more entertaining without being public with shit. Because there is a way to do it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's more documentaries. I don't know. Two people that aren't social distancing is Zeke and Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. They got caught partying for a birthday party. Dak came out and said, man, it was only like 12 people. Other reports show pictures of about 30 people together in a house partying. You guys are in the spotlight. Again, if everybody in there is cool, hey, that's your life. But when you're in the spotlight, you got to be that example. How you gonna talk about it when they bring everybody back? How you gonna talk about it? Because the press is gonna bring it up. Yo, how'd you social distance? How did that go? What are you gonna say? Oh, I didn't social distance. Actually, we were partying. We had a birthday party. We were kicking it, like for real. That might be it. That's gonna be awkward as fuck when they do that. I wonder if they're gonna get fined. I wonder if there's any information on them getting fined. It might be. I ain't gonna take the time to look though. You can do your Googles. I was very disappointed and hurt. UFC 249 officially got postponed. After Dana White came out and said, this is gonna happen. We got Gaethje, Ferguson, it's gonna happen. I'm getting the island for my international fighters. This is going down. I got an Indian reservation. Native American reservation. Indians are from India. I learned that a few days ago. We got let down. Disney said, Dana White, you're doing too much. You need to chill. Nah, you need to chill. You might be wondering, how is Mickey Mouse involved with this? How does Disney have anything to say to the UFC? How does Disney have any authority over the UFC? It's simple. Disney owns ESPN. ESPN has a partnership with the UFC. So how are they going to show fights on ESPN Plus without ESPN's approval? It's not going to happen. I have a feeling Dana White is really going to try to really ponder and figure out a different way to work out some things. I wonder if this hinders ESPN's deal with the UFC long term. After they're done with contracts and stuff like that, I wonder if Dana White's going to write in there, if we have any pandemic having to do with health, it's up to the UFC to make sure fighters are safe and any supporters have no say so. I don't know how that looks. But what I do know is Dana White fought his hardest to make this shit happen. Thug Rose pulled out. Pause. There was a couple other fighters that pulled out before the announcement because their families were impacted from COVID-19. I get it. I understand. I said it on this podcast. If 249 does not happen, I'm cool with it. As long as the fighters are safe, as long as the patrons, the fans that would be in the arena are safe, if that was gonna happen, I'm cool with it. But for you to come out and say, yo, it's happening, we're gonna do it, it would have been tomorrow, or it would have been this weekend too. And then to come back and say, sorry, Disney said no. It's a little heartbreaking, but I get it. And we will get the fight again, we will get the fight. It might even make for a bigger fight, or the next two fights might be huge. Postponing, letting fighters get healthy, things like that. I think it only helps the situation as far as getting fighters in a good place and ready to fight. But man, it was 249 card was stacked. Whew, it was stacked. Okay, I think that's all we got today. Please go over to allrock.com for all of my content. Instagram, and all that good stuff. YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube game. We're going strong. We just broke over 134 subscribers, and we're approaching 10,000 views as a collective. So thank you so much. And we just passed over 500 downloads on 350 downloads on the podcast, on all the platforms for the podcast and stuff like that. So thank you so much for all the support that I've been getting on this podcast. It's all on you. Like, all you guys listening to right now, you guys have been doing this, and I appreciate it. I know a lot of you are listening to different podcasts, so be sure to check out the Young OG Perspective. Check out DB and Big Buddha podcast, The Other Side of the Beehive podcast, the Geek Show podcast. These are all local podcasts here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And if you are not in Salt Lake City, Utah, check out obviously the national, the bigger podcast, Joe Rogan, Brilliant Idiots, Bodega Boys, all of them, man. Damn Internet, You Scary. Bunch of different podcasts out there right now. So maybe I'll do like my top 10 podcasts that I listen to right now or something like that. And if you got suggestions for me, please send them my way, because I am always looking at I'm always looking for more subscriptions or more podcasts to subscribe to, as I can listen to them around the house and things like that. Bill and I, the Science Guy, I guess, has a podcast that I didn't even know about that I need to check out, because I love those kind of podcasts. Neil deGrasse Tyson had another one that I used to listen to. Maybe I need to listen to it again, or get back into it, I should say. If you want to donate to this podcast, please visit the website. I'll get a donate link up there. If you have Square Cash or the Cash App, it's just the $sign Drerawka, DRERAWKA. On PayPal, Drerawka. On Venmo, Drerawka, DRERAWKA. And on YouTube, if you want to donate, I'll have links in the description below and all that good stuff. I really appreciate all the support and love that I've been getting. Yeah, I will catch you guys on the next episode. Until next time, peace.